take it I'm looking that way.
Hello and welcome back to NDI Central Live here at NAB 2018. I'm Rex Olson, and again we're webcasting from the NewTek booth 5016 for the next 3 days. If you're coming down to NAB, make sure you stop by and join us. Visit the NewTek booth and visit the NDI Central Pavilion to find out all the latest and greatest products and technology. And of course, NDI developments abound here at NAB. Well, our next guest is a company that specializes in network storage. Network storage is something that more and more people are interested in. We have Robert Herzan, the CEO of ScaleLogic, and Mr. Daryl Heinis, CTO of ScaleLogic. Welcome to the NewTek booth.
Yeah, good to be here.
Well, let's start off just by telling us, tell us about ScaleLogic.
Well, I think you had a good start there. We're a storage and networking company. We come with a lot of experience. We've been doing it for 30 years. And we take a consultative approach with the customers. Media industry is a very complex industry. Lots of different types of workflows, and not a single type of product that can actually solve all the different problems that we see. So we take a consultative approach in our customers' workflows and try to develop products that fit their current requirements in their budgets and scale as they grow.
Okay. Now, talk to us about the Genesis platform.
So the Genesis platform has been developed over the years to allow us that opportunity to look at these clients' challenges that they have. And we can use various different pieces in the platform to build small, medium, and full-blown enterprise-based workflows.
And then, so it's all scalable. You start small and build, or are they separate?
Well, it's in the name. So ScaleLogic is the name. So all the products that we have is about scaling, and scaling both with performance and capacity. So we can take a very small infrastructure, and as they grow, build them into an enterprise class configuration.
Now, how do these servers apply specifically to NDI Technology?
So I'll let Daryl talk a little bit about the Genesis NX, which was a product that we built specifically and brought the NDI platform in on.
Yeah, so the Genesis NX is a server class NAS. So server class meaning that it's really meant to run 24/7, 365. We have a very proactive support model where we understand our clients' deadlines. So as they're trying to work on their deadline projects, our proactive approach to our support also meets that challenge and helps them stay up and running.
Okay.
So NDI, we can embed that inside in a virtual machine inside the appliance to make a small footprint, or that those encoders and capture devices for NDI can go on an external appliance as well. So many different ways. And once again, to Bob's comment of consulting each customer, figuring out what's going to work for them.
Very good. So, you know, there are a lot of different servers out there. How is price affected by the type of server? I mean, everyone's looking for the best deal, but what should people consider when they're considering an NAS solution?
Well, in my perspective, price is important, performance is important, availability is important of the data. So you've got to take all three of those things into consideration to determine what we're going to put in place for that type of client. Some clients don't have the budget for a high enterprise product, so we've built solutions like the Genesis NX that fit that lower budget.
I see.
We've got a product called Genesis ZX that would be more for the mid-tier. Higher availability, higher scalability, more performance, and then you can go all the way up into a full-blown enterprise. So those are questions that are asked to understand the need and requirement before we approach them with the right solution.
So when looking for a network storage, you really kind of need to consider long-term. This isn't just a short-term consideration. If you're expected to be growing, you need to be thinking more along the lines of the middle or the enterprise class type of server, or is it dependent on basically that?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So everything we do, everything we put out in the field, we at least approach that with this thing's got to live for at least 5 years. And so we're not going to put something that isn't going to scale If the client tells us that they are going to need to get into like 24/7 HA failover components, we're going to put the right tools in on day one so that we don't get into trouble down the road with that purchase.
I see. And why is enterprise class better than your other level products? What makes the difference?
Well, it's a number of things. So the main thing right out of the gates would be that it can be relied on for 24/7 mission critical support, so that it doesn't fail at a time that's really bad for the project that it's going in. So I would say reliability aspects would be more important at that point than, let's say, something like performance. So I think it really comes down to what's the expected duty cycle of that appliance. And so when we say enterprise server class, what that means from ScaleLogic is really a 24/7, 365 operation.
I see. Okay, so broadcasters that are on the air constantly accessing the files, they need to be at that level. For the smaller production house, perhaps, that's looking for more affordability, that's really more occasional use and doesn't need that 24/7 reliability. So that makes sense. So backup and archive, you know, how, like, for instance, like graphics production, NX level, I suppose, is best for that. Again, that's not the 24/7 necessarily, more the occasional use.
Again, there's multiple ways to handle, I guess what we would say is multi-tier. So you want to have multiple copies of your data. Some people want to do it on tape, where it's probably the least expensive way to have their backup or their archive.
Is that still pretty popular, tape backup?
It is very popular. It continues to go. There's various different reasons on why. Again, sometimes it's the least expensive way to do it. At least they understand it to be the least expensive. Sometimes they want to have a mobility way of remoting that data off to another site. The Genesis NX, the Genesis ZX, that platform now is becoming a much better archive device because it's all on spinning disk. It has a snapshot capability where it can do both the backup and the archive, so you can have a combination of your business continuance. There's object storage where people are going out to on-prem or off-prem, and obviously using the cloud. So there's lots of ways to solve second tier, third copies of data.
Okay. Well, what's the best way for people to find out more about ScaleLogic products?
Well, over the next few days, you might as well just come down to our booth.
Okay.
But ScaleLogic.com.
Okay.
Good place to find us.
What booth are you in here?
So our booth number, damn it, SL.
Gotcha. You're in the lower South Hall?
Lower South Hall.
Okay, so you're in the same hall as NewTek, so you can come to NewTek and find out, or look it up in the directory. But make sure you come to, if you're coming to NAB, visit the ScaleLogic booth to find out more about network storage. Guys, thank you for joining us on the show today. Have a great show.
All right, you too.
And we will be right back very shortly, so stick around.